Now on KXMC and HD, high water problems are still running high for many in the region. We'll have the latest tonight. Plus, a West Hope murder suspect made his plea in court today. And lawmakers voted today on how much money will go to the state fair for flood repairs.
Live in high definition, this is KX News.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us today. The flood of 2013 hit hard over the weekend and high water problems continued today for many people in the region. The very warm weather of Friday and Saturday caused rapid runoff from a heavy snow year, leading to overland and river flooding. We have 3 live reports tonight, beginning in Logan, where Jennifer Thorgumson is standing by.
Thanks, Alicia. East of Minot, you'll find a lot of flooded farmland like you see behind me here near Logan. Logan itself was a site for overland flooding over the weekend. Frozen culverts prevented the snowmelt from getting through town. Well, those culverts issues have been resolved, but now the Mouse River is 6 inches higher than what was projected for Logan. Our River Watch east of Minot also led us to meet up with volunteers who have never stopped fighting the water alongside homeowners.
The iconic blue Logan Bridge is just afloat the Mouse River. Debris is catching at the base of the bridge, causing water to back into yards and wash up on fence lines that still carry the watermark of 2011. The Mouse River gauge in Logan reads 36.4 feet, moderate flood stage. Stephanie Wagoner says the basement is still dry in her house, but that's the only part of her 16 acres that has not taken on water. Her neighbors across the river are also still dry thanks to 4 feet of clay. And that's where we met up with Bob Lauer.
You need any pumps?
If you can't get out for help, he'll bring the help to you.
We can get you some team help, too, if you need it out here. You can call me and we'll bring it out, all right?
Corps and the Dakota Conference United Methodist Disaster Recovery Crew never left. Lauer's out to be sure that those not high and dry are not left high and dry.
When you lose a home, it's a tragic thing, particularly if you thought it was your retirement home and you have to move on, but God's been good to us, and so we're just playing that forward and working for the general welfare of the community.
In Sawyer, the Mouse River is 2 feet below the predicted level at 22.45 feet, minor flood stage and well within the city's levee system. Between Logan and Sawyer, you'll find creatures bargaining for dry land and others just making the best of it, not unlike neighboring homeowners trying to stay afloat the Mouse River.
Now, volunteers are still willing and available, so don't be afraid to ask. In fact, a big thank you goes out to the volunteers who responded for the call for more sandbags in Burlington yesterday. Sean Sitma is standing by with the latest update on the flood fight in Burlington and Minot.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. I am standing here at the Memorial Bridge in Minot, where the water levels have come up quite a bit over the last 48 hours as inflows from the Des Lacs River have been dumping into the Mouse over the last couple of days, as we've had very warm weather that has led to very high runoff into the Des Lacs River. Now, that has also meant a couple of very tumultuous days living in low-lying areas along the Des Lacs River.
At the confluence where the Des Lacs River dumps into the Mouse on the northeast edge of Burlington, water levels are now starting to drop after a very quick rise the past 24 hours. The walking bridge at the Old Settlers Park, typically well above the water line, is nearly submerged. Upstream, access to the Project Roads area has been hit and miss as water covered the roads last night. When the water receded, a few sustained enough damage, like this sinkhole, to keep the road closed. Several low-lying houses near the Des Lacs were also inundated by the quick rise. Ron Alonia lives near one of the bends of the river and says they started sandbagging last night after watching the river quickly rise out of its banks Sunday evening.
Roughly around 8 o'clock, we were able to walk through down here. Came back an hour later and the water rose up out of the banks. So then we had to hurry up, empty out the garages, and then decided to put more sandbags around the house.
Alonia says he is worried, though, about how much more of his property is washing away as the current continues to cut away at the riverbank edges. The river crested Sunday afternoon at 19.39 feet, roughly 2 feet from the record set back in 1979 and about a foot away from the level reached in 2011. The National Weather Service expects the Des Lacs to drop off quickly as runoff that feeds this fast-running river dries up.
Well, and because of the outflows from Lake Darling were shut down before the Des Lacs River's very quick run, it has meant very little impact within the city of Burlington or within the Minot because of the protective dikes and levees within the city's levels or the city's levee system here. Reporting live at the Memorial Bridge in Minot, let's send it live to Jim, who's standing by with some of the latest river numbers.
All right, thanks, Sean. The highest water from the Des Lacs River has moved past Foxholm, and it appears past Burlington, as Sean told you. But that surge of water is combining with local runoff to bring crests pretty soon downstream on the Mouse River. So let's take a look at the latest projections. We begin west of Sherwood, where new releases from Canadian dams, along with local runoff, are combining to cause an expected crest of 22.5 feet on Saturday. That's about a foot higher than the crest that hit early in April. At Foxholm, the crest has already passed, and the Des Lacs River is expected to keep on dropping pretty quickly. It should drop below the flood stage by tomorrow morning. Now, next stop is the Burlington area, where the rise has also stopped. It looks like the Burlington level is starting to drop now just a little bit. At the Boy Scout Bridge west of Minot, a crest of 15.1 feet is now expected tomorrow. That crest is lower than the crest prediction of earlier. We can go to the next map and see the Boy Scout Bridge right there. That is still, though, about a foot higher than the crest that was reached about a week ago. Now we go on to the city of Minot, and the crest appears to have been reached early this morning. Came in a little under 2 feet less than flood stage. At Logan, it appears the crest was reached this afternoon at 36.4 feet. That is the 7th highest crest on record at Logan. At Sawyer, the Mouse is expected to creep into the moderate flood stage tomorrow, hitting 24.5 feet, which would be the 4th highest level ever recorded there. In Velva, the river is expected to rise another few inches, topping out at 1507.2 tomorrow morning. That would be the 7th highest crest in Velva. In Towner, the Mouse should climb to about 56.4 feet on Thursday, the 4th highest ever. East of Bantry, the crest projection is 14.2 feet, major flood territory, and the 3rd highest crest on record at that site. Now, away from the Mouse River, at Carlsruhe, or near there anyway, the Wintering River is projected to reach 8.1 feet on Wednesday. And near Willow City, the Willow Creek is expected to hit 12.3 feet on Thursday. Now, with Sherwood projected to hit a new season high in just a few days, it remains to be seen if other places along the Mouse River are also going to be seeing higher crests yet to come as Canadian water is flushed through the system, or perhaps if Lake Darling will be able to hold back enough water to keep the people downstream of Lake Darling from getting any higher river levels this year.
Now, your first look at KX weather.
Well, if you can stay out of the wind, at least some of us will have a fairly nice evening. Now, not everybody. Let's take a look at the sky cam. It looks pretty nice around the Magic City. At 6 o'clock, the temp is 64 degrees. Wow, south-southwest wind at 11, and the humidity only 31%. However, in Williston, quite a few more clouds, only 56 degrees. The wind's out of the northwest at 32 miles an hour right now. So I want to jump ahead to the weekend because Saturday will be probably mid-50s. We could get back into the 60s on Sunday. And also this week is Severe Summer Weather Awareness Week. And this week, at least for today, we're talking about severe thunderstorms. I know there's a lot of people who moved to North Dakota, may have not dealt with severe weather like that we get here in the Northern Plains. There's the definition for severe thunderstorm and what thunderstorms can produce here in North Dakota. And I just want to let you know that anytime, day or night throughout the summer, anytime there's severe weather that you want to find out about, you can tune to the KX Weather Channel. Now, I will have a complete outlook on the weather coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thank you, Tom. A West Hope man accused of killing another West Hope man in February says he's not guilty. 49-year-old Timothy Munt entered his plea in Northeast District Court in Botno this afternoon. Munt is charged with Class AA murder in the shooting death of 40-year-old Jesse Kirk in West Hope in early February. Munt waived his preliminary hearing, meaning there still has been no testimony about the facts of the case other than that Kirk was killed with a rifle. Botno Assistant State's Attorney Swain Benson says details of the prosecution's case are being kept between the prosecution and the defense.
They've got, through the discovery process, the evidence that the state has, so they've got that evidence there. So yeah, nothing is put on the record at this time except for the information has been filed, so that includes a little extra information with the proposed witnesses.
Munt requested a jury trial, and the court tentatively set a mid-October date for the trial to begin. Class AA murder carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. A Williston man has been reported as of missing since Wednesday. According to Sergeant Detective Caleb Fry, there is evidence of a violent crime, and authorities will release more information when they can. The Williams County Sheriff's Office reports 50-year-old Jack Scholl has not been heard from since Wednesday night. Foul has not ruled out. Foul play has not been ruled out, rather. According to investigators, Scholl was last seen at his home in Williston on April 24th. Sergeant Fry says the family has been very cooperative. Williston Police, the Bureau of Criminal Investigation, the Highway Patrol, and Northwest Narcotics Task Force are also assisting in the investigation. If you have any information, you should contact the Williams County Sheriff's Department at 577-7700. A high-speed chase stretched across 70 miles of Highway 2 this morning. 40-year-old Amber Osborne of Fairdale, North Dakota, was arrested following the chase that began in Surrey and ended west of Stanley. Speeds were clocked at 110 miles per hour at times and involved law enforcement agencies from all along the route. Minot police tried to stop Osborne using tire spikes but did not succeed. Authorities report she swerved and tried to strike a Minot police officer who was on foot at the time. The chase continued, and the Highway Patrol reports that several times during the chase, Osborne would stop and back up trying to strike patrol cars. She ended up ramming one HB car, causing several $1,000s in damage. A Stanley police officer was able to successfully tire spike the two right tires of Osborne's pickup. There was a short standoff and Osborne was taken into custody. No one was injured in the chase. Osborne is charged with attempted murder, 3 charges of terrorizing and reckless endangerment, and fleeing from an officer. North Dakota legislators have reduced the amount of money to go to the state fair for flood repairs. Lawmakers approved the state fair budget this morning. The Fair Association had asked lawmakers for $3.5 million to repair asphalt and gravel damaged by the 2011 flood in Minot. Lawmakers reduced that amount to $2 million in state funds and are allowing the state fair to use $75,000 in reserve to make the repairs. Officials say the flood caused $4.5 million in damage to the fairgrounds. The bill also increases funds used to pay premiums for awards given out at the fair. Well, this week, the All Seasons Arena turns into a magical place for kids and adults of all ages because the circus is in town. The Jordan World Circus of Las Vegas is in Minot for the next 3 days. The circus has entertainment for people of all ages and interests, ranging from trapeze artists to clowns to crazy motorcycle stunts. The Shrine Circus has some fun for everyone. And besides the entertainment of watching the acts, children can ride the elephants, get their faces painted, and more during intermissions and before the show. The co-chairman has been working with the circus for 25 years now and says the excitement never dwindles.
It has a lot of impact, you know, all the kids, they all want to see the circus. And it's not only for little kids, it's for big kids too.
And the circus is doing 7 performances in Minot this year, tonight at 7:30, tomorrow at 10 a.m. and 4 o'clock p.m. and 7:30 p.m., and Wednesday at 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. Coming up tonight on KX News in HD, higher production in the Bakken is leading to more possibilities for the future of Western North Dakota. We'll explain that in this week's Eye on Energy after Tom's weather.
Now we've got some colder weather on the way, and I've got the details in a couple of minutes on KX News at 6.
You're watching KX News in high definition. News with Jim Olson and Alicia Hunt. Meteorologist Tom Schrader and Mike Elm Sports.
Now to take a peek at the almanac in the Magic City, a high of 64 degrees. Today we are 3 above that average high temperature with a low of 31. In Williston today, not bad either, 68, almost hitting that 70-degree mark once again. 41 degrees was our low today. And now, Tom, we want to keep these temperatures, but I have a feeling you're going to change that.
That's not going to happen. It is going to get colder, much colder even by tomorrow. Now for tonight, there's a little disturbance moving through. There's still numerous chances of showers tonight, possibly a lightning strike here or there. But later on tonight, it could be mixed with a little bit of snow late in the overnight hours. It'll still stay somewhat windy. And then for tomorrow, colder again, windy all day long. The temperatures will be in the 30s and 40s for the high temperature tomorrow. Northwest wind 20 to 30. And as we look ahead to Wednesday, it'll still be rather cold. Mainly, we'll see high temperatures in the 40s. Once you get a little bit farther south, might see some 50s. We'll have a little less wind on Wednesday. Doesn't look bad right now with the sky cam, at least in the Magic City. 64 degrees, south-southwest wind at 11 miles an hour. And in Williston, there was a brief little shower that went through. 56 degrees right now, northwest wind at 32. And as we check out some of the other temps around the rest of the state, Even by the colors you can see with the yellowish down there, that's where the warmer area is right now, 50s and 60s across much of North Dakota. Wind is not all that strong across central North Dakota right now, but look at these sustained winds in Williston, 32 miles an hour, and the wind gusts are even stronger. 41-mile-an-hour wind gusts in Williston right now, 25-mile-an-hour on the hill in Minot. And it's kind of nice to see green up here and not blue. There could be a little snow showing up tonight, but right now these are just rain showers. But if you look really close, you might see a little bit of yellow. There could be a brief intensification of that little rain shower. Might turn into a little bit of lightning here or there. But overall, really not a lot of stormy weather across the northern plains. Right now, it looks like most of the thunderstorms, if there's going to be any, would be along the east coast. Now, tomorrow, the jet stream is going to take a big dive, and when it does that, Canadian air is going to start spilling in on Tuesday, and the temperatures will fall back into the 40s for a lot of people. And then on Wednesday, it doesn't do much better. It starts to track to the east a little bit, but we will have another shot of Canadian air coming in tomorrow night into Wednesday morning, and that will allow some of the nighttime lows to fall into the 20s for a couple of days. But right now, forecast models picking up on a little bit of yellow and orange there. That gives us that chance of a small thunderstorm. If you don't want to see snow, quit looking to the blue. There it is right there. Could be a little light snow tomorrow morning. Really won't add up. It won't stay on the ground. And then the wind will be out of the northwest most of the day tomorrow. But the forecast for tonight, by 11 o'clock tonight, we're looking at mid to upper 40s, and the temperature will fall all night long. Tomorrow be in the 30s. We might get back into the low 40s for the high by tomorrow afternoon, except around Garrison might even be in the 50s. And then as we check out the 7-day outlook, we've got a couple of cold days ahead of us, especially at night. A lot of the nighttime lows are going to be in the 20s, maybe low 20s around the Turtle Mountains. And then it warms up a little bit. And as I look at the long range for next week, it looks like we might get into some seriously warm weather next week.
Well, we'll look forward to that and get through these next couple of days and enjoy the weekend again. Yep. All right. Thanks, Tom. Coming up tonight on KX News and A2D, an area football player is being considered by the NDSU football team. Mike has that and more in sports tonight. And later, you might think twice before tossing that pop top in the garbage. We'll tell you why as KX News continues. An increase in oil production in the Bakken is leading to more possibilities for the future of western North Dakota. Gary Brode has more on what's in store for the future of oil transportation in this week's Ion Energy.
North Dakota's crude oil production continues to increase, which means transportation for that oil needs to increase also. And so the question many in the oil production field are asking is,
how do we bring this North Dakota light sweet oil and again get it connected to those refineries that we may have not had access to in previous years?
Something on the minds of many at the Bakken Investor Conference this past weekend. Hundreds were in attendance, many looking to become part of one of the richest areas in the country.
The market right now continues to surprise. Production in North Dakota continues to rise, so Enbridge, North Dakota is continuing to expand our system to meet those demands of the additional production from the North Dakota region.
With increased production comes increased expectations. Kringstad believes growth will continue for the next 5 to 10 years. Transportation of oil is done by railroad and pipeline. As of now, 71% of oil is moved by railroad, but Enbridge believes in the need for pipeline.
We see the need for more export capacity via pipeline out of the Bakken region to supply the mid-American refineries that are going to be demanding the light oil crude get to them.
That has been made clear by the company's actions as of late. Enbridge recently completed 2 projects, adding 225,000 barrels of export capacity, even looking to double that addition with a $1 billion project. It seems many companies are enjoying the riches of the Bakken, not just Enbridge.
We're finding refineries on the coastal areas that traditionally did not have Bakken access that now have it. They're really enjoying the way that our crude oil is refined into their systems, so it's a win-win. We're growing our production and we're finding markets that have a large desire for our crude oil.
When it comes to energy development in North America, all roads lead to the Bakken. In Minot, Gary Brode, KX News.
Mike Elm is with us, and what do we have for sports tonight?
Well, you know, it's a springtime of year, but we're actually going to be talking some football because there's an area football player who's hoping maybe someday to be wearing the green and gold. We'll tell you about that next in sports. Bishop Ryan Jr. Mason Kramer is still in the running as a possible future player for the NDSU football team. The Bison are the two-time national champions, and this past weekend, Kramer was invited to Fargo to take on the spring scrimmage, take it in, and get a tour of the facility. Around 1,100 athletes were being considered by NDSU, but that list has been whittled to just 84, and Kramer feels fortunate to still be in the running.
Yeah, they said they started with over 1,000 kids recruited, and the 84 they invited down to their spring game was 84 cut, so made it that far. Hopefully it keeps going. You know, their recruiting pitches are pretty easy with, you know, back-to-back national championships, and it's just their facilities are really nice. We went through their training room, and it was really impressive, all their stuff, all their offices and film rooms, and it was pretty impressive football.
Kramer added that he'll visit more with the school when officials visit Minot in about a month. Meanwhile, afternoon baseball action, Minot State wrapping up a doubleheader with Bemidji State. They also played yesterday, and Bemidji State takes game 1 4-3 and wins game 2 21-1. MSU club hockey signed to tell you about Zach McDonald, a 5'11" forward out of Dakota College. Obano headed next year to play for Minot State. In Major League Baseball action this afternoon, the Twins and Detroit are underway. The Twins riding a mild 2-game win streak, and again, that's the first of a 3-game series with the Tigers. New York Jets have waived quarterback Tim Tebow after just one season in the Big Apple. The former Heisman Trophy winner attempted just 8 passes with the Jets since his trade from the Denver Broncos in March of 2012, throwing for just 39 yards while rushing for 102 yards. Jets starter Mark Sanchez struggled amid constant questions about Tebow's playing time. Tebow's future was in doubt with the New York Jets after the team drafted quarterback Geno Smith in the second round of the NFL draft on Friday. Tebow had led the Broncos to the playoffs in 2011, but became expendable when Denver acquired Peyton Manning at quarterback. Although Tebow's future in the NFL could be in doubt, he could compete for a backup job in the CFL with Montreal. The Alouettes have exclusive negotiating rights to him, but have a starter already in Anthony Cavillo, who is entering his 20th season in the CFL. And one of the longest and most time-consuming shots in PGA history took place over the weekend in Korea, where the Valentine's Championship tournament was played. Louis Oosthuizen hit his drive on the par 5 first hole right of the fairway, and he'll watch it catch the cart path, and then it began a long journey down the cart path where it rolled, and in fact it would go past a couple of spectators, and when it was all said and done, the ball rolls off the tee near 500 yards. The total time elapsed from the strike of the ball until it finally came to a stop was 2 minutes. Oosthuizen would par the hole and finish the round with a 171. He finished the tournament in 5th place at 8 under. You know, sometimes you use things to your advantage, and I guess a cart path in that instance could be a little bit of an advantage as it got a little downhill slope there.
Most certainly. And we'll tell you about one impressive young man here in our region right after the break. Something small can add up to make a big difference. That's the motto behind the Ronald McDonald House Pop Tops campaign that has helped ease family medical expenses for decades now. Jennifer Thorgumson introduces us to one young boy who is going above and beyond to give back.
It may not be the sound of coins falling, but to 8-year-old Hunter, it's music to his ears.
They set a goal of 1 million. That almost seems like an achievable goal, but here we are just a few months in.
Hunter was diagnosed with hydrocephalus, or water on the brain, at only 9 months old. After multiple surgeries, Gillette Children's Hospital in St. Paul has become a second home. But that fact is a little easier to take now after Ronald McDonald added a room for his family.
The last couple times that he's had surgery, we've been able to stay right there at the hospital with him in the Ronald McDonald room.
After his last surgery in February, he was just more looking for he was kind of sad that he'd had surgery and trying to find upbeat things to keep him, keep his mind off of that and the why me. And so he had a conversation with his grandmother about what they could do to help other kids or other families. And that was one thing they come up with.
As of last night, our tally was just over 500,000. So we have hit our halfway mark to 1 million.
The Kreitz vendors have set an additional challenge that they need your help with. Hunter has a follow-up appointment in St. Paul on June 15th, and he would like to hand-deliver his collection. Pop-Tops can be left at Bread of Life Church or at the Minot Air Force Base Public Affairs Office.
But even just people that we have no idea, they just show up. Every day we're getting Pop-Tops.
Hunter's 1 million Pop-Tops will be worth about $500. Enough money to make a change. In Minot, Jennifer Thorgumson, KX News.
And we want to thank Hunter for all his hard work. Thanks for joining us tonight, and have a great night.